All right, everyone. So I am Dr. Amanda. And if you are feeling like me, I mean, life gets busy at this point in time. And I feel like the work deadlines, all my daughter's activities that they want to throw in at the last minute. You may be caring for aging parents. You may be in a ministry that's like trying to do a lot of good, especially during this time of year. You have church commitments, community commitments, different organization commitments, social events. I mean, just all the things, right? How are you going to still, with all this business of life, manage your blood pressure, your blood sugar, your weight, your stress, your sleep, and still drinking enough water? Hmm. So if you ever thought, I don't know what to do, I just can't seem to stay consistent, I want you to know you are not alone and there's nothing wrong with you. Okay. So most people don't struggle because they're lazy or unmotivated. We usually struggle, I include myself, in some of these things because life is so full and things are competing for our attention. Okay. And if we don't have habits that are to work with inside our busy lives, then it's hard to stay consistent. Okay. But if we do have small habits, then consistency is possible, even when our schedule is jam packed. Okay. You can build in habits that match real life and not ideal life. That's key. Real life and not ideal life. Okay. So, of course, today we're going to talk about how we can do that. Okay. So put your questions in the comments. If you have any questions along the way, of course, I will answer them. I'm going to be looking down to see if I see any that come up. But yeah, I just wanted to sit back and listen to these 5 practical steps that you can actually do to help stay consistent during a busy life. And I think as long as we're alive, we're all going to always have a busy life. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is to pick an anchor habit. And that's something that grounds you. You want to prepare ahead of time to reduce any friction. You want to stack habits onto routines you already have, and you want to use reminders to support your brain because so many different things going on. And you want to embrace flexibility. Now, this has been a real big one for me that I've really been praying on to actually have a flexibility mindset and not to say to drop everything or it's an all or nothing thing because usually I'm like either I'm going to do it or I don't, and that's a good thing for some things in life, but sometimes as we go along the way we want to make sure that we have flexibility. Okay, well, let's talk through each step so you know what works for lifestyle and why lifestyle medicine and brain perspective and how to apply all these things into a messy life. Okay. And at the end, we'll share a moment and see how life can look. So if life doesn't feel so chaotic, if we actually stop all the dozen health plans that we have, like, oh my gosh, like there's so many different things. We just take a breath. Okay. So remember, do not have to ever aim for perfection. We want to just try to focus on progress. And you need a plan that respects your reality and honors your body in the way that you would want to honor it, especially if you want to use it as a way to honor the Lord. Okay. So, what is our first habit here? Our first step, we want to actually pick an anchor habit. Okay. So, an anchor habit is one thing that you do every single day, no matter how busy life gets. Okay. So think of this like spiritual or lifestyle non-negotiable, small enough that you can get it done even on the hardest days, but meaningful enough that it nudges you to better health and the right decision, making right decisions. So what would that look like in a life of a busy person, a daily thing here? You would want to go for a walk after dinner. So no matter what, no matter what time, you're going to go for a 10-minute walk after dinner. Okay. So that can be one of your anchor habits. It can be drinking a glass of water at each meal. That can be an anchor habit. Always having your water bottle there and drinking it when it actually see it. Adding in one serving of vegetables to one meal every single day, no matter what. So if you get to dinner time, you're like, I haven't had any vegetables today, you're going to make sure you get it in. Or doing 5 minutes of stretching before bed. As we continue to have more and more birthdays, sometimes we forget that our body needs to stretch. I was actually on a call yesterday with some colleagues, and a lot of their things that actually help with their body was talking about stretching. So I thought that was interesting. So don't forget the stretching. That can be definitely a good anchor habit for you. Okay. So remember, these are their anchor habit is something that you can do that will keep you going, keep you going on your health journey, but also very meaningful. But it's actually a very small thing that you would do. So it's not like you're running 5 miles every morning or completely cutting out sugar, because that will not actually work on a very high stress day. Okay. You'll be like thinking, oh, whatever, I'm not doing that today. Like, it's now 5 o'clock, it's dark outside, I'm not running 5 miles, but you could get in a 10-minute walk, right? So that's why we want to look at the anchor habits in a little bit a different way. Okay. So in lifestyle medicine, we know that small, consistent changes actually helps with blood pressure, blood sugar, and inflammation over time. Okay. So a simple daily walk for 10 minutes, your blood sugar can drop more than a 1 hour workout if you do it only twice a month. So think about that. So we don't want to be to where we're heavy at one point in time in the month, but then don't do anything for the rest of the month. So like 10 minutes every single day, or even 10 minutes 5 days a week is better than 1 hour once a week. Okay. Because that actually helps you keep the habit going. Okay. So I always like nutrition. So I always like to try to get you to get in those extra vegetables every single time you can. So again, it's not about perfect. It's not about abandoning anything else. But if we want to try to, stay on track with a certain anchor habit, then the vegetables, you want to keep those top of mind. Like, did I have a vegetable today? Did I have two vegetables today? Whatever you can do. Okay. So spiritually, you want to try to do something that is daily, because there's nothing that you can do that can replace your time with God. Okay. So even when life seems just chaotic and I don't know what I'm going to do, you can pray any time of day, anywhere you are, no matter what. Pray to yourself. You can pray out loud. You can recite a verse that you have meditated on, or just give it a moment of gratitude. Like, everything's just going on. You're just like, Lord, just thank you that I am, still able to do X, Y, and Z, whatever it may be. And so just those simple habits can actually help for you. Okay. So now I want you to think, what is one anchor habit you can commit to for the next 30 days? And I would love for you to put those in the comments, whether you're watching live or watching the replay. Like, what is one habit you can commit to for the next 30 days? Remember, you want something small, you want something that's realistic. So something that you can picture yourself doing, whether it's a good day or a not good day. I don't want to say the other ones, but whatever you want it to be. So maybe it's not your ideal type of day. Let's just put it that way. So something that you can do no matter what. Okay. So again, a few examples I've given is the, walking after dinner, drinking your glass of water, adding vegetables every meal. Just write it down, say it out loud. Anchor habits are powerful because they send a message to your brain. No matter how life gets busy, your health is still important. Okay. So that's the first step we want to do. So our anchor habits. Excuse me. The next thing we want to do is make sure that we plan ahead. Okay. Now let's plan ahead. So one of the biggest reasons we fall off the health habits are friction. When we're too busy, we're too tired, anything that requires extra decisions or energy, it's just like, that's going to be too much. It's not a clear character flaw. It's actually how the brain works. Okay. So if we prepare ahead of time and making healthy choices, it actually makes it easier to make the choice. Say, for example, meal prep doesn't have to mean cooking all the meals on Sunday, which I can say I've done before. And that doesn't always hold up. It can mean chopping up vegetables for the week, pre-washing your greens for your wonderful salad, making like a pot of beans or brown rice, something that you can portion out, like having little snacks of little baggies of snacks, like your nuts or your fruit or your hummus and those individual things, and it's already there. So that's why it's easier to grab. Okay. Grocery planning might be something as simple as rotating in like 10 or 15 go-to items that you always have in the pantry or in the fridge. So every time you go to the store, you want to make sure that you already have these things. So a simple something that you can grab that's already done almost like, well, that's done or easy to prepare. So that would be like beans, greens, because that can be sauteed quickly, or they can be thrown into a smoothie. Like cooking or having your frozen veggies that can be thrown in the microwave to make a quick get your veggies in. Oats, fruit is always good. My daughter has me going to the store today to get some more fruit so we can have that there. And like whole grain breads and nuts. So all those things that you can just have on hand that you don't necessarily have to prepare, but that's not everything you have to prepare like from scratch. So it's something that's there, still whole foods, but something that doesn't take forever to prepare and just have it there and available to you. So that's like planning ahead. I know my sister usually cuts up her fruit and has that there so she can grab it and go because that makes a big difference because if you have to cut it up like let me just grab something else, I'm gonna grab these chips or whatever that's already here and just ready for me to eat now. Okay, so you want to plan ahead. um Exercising may be planning ahead for exercise may be like putting your workout clothes out or putting it on your calendar as a planned event, and like no matter what you can't plan anything else right there. So that would be a good thing to think about there. So if your evenings are going to be hectic, like I don't know about you all, but me, with like kids, well, one child, the homework that she has to do, getting all her work done, the dinner, and then like bedtime, reading, all that types of things. Like I know that the evenings do not work for me, so I have to push most of the things to the morning and afternoon, like before she comes home from school. So you may actually think about those times of day that are better. So you want to think about times where you don't feel as much friction. Okay, so you probably don't want to be doing cutting vegetables or washing them and chopping them, trying to find a recipe in the evening when everything else is going on. Okay, so you just want to be able to open up the refrigerator, things that's already pre-done, whether it's like washed your greens, excuse me, and you had some roasted veggies that you can just like heat up real quick, and so that's your meal. And so if you have all that prepared, you're more likely to stay on track as far as your health and wellness. Okay. So this is also why I encourage people to have default meals. So these are simple things that you can repeat. That's very easy and you don't have to think about, like the oats with fruit and nuts, a big salad with beans and avocado for sorry, for the oats is for breakfast, and then the big salad and the beans and avocados for lunch, and then for dinner, beans, greens, and like a sweet potato. Like I think my husband would actually die if I made that all those things again. Like that was like my go-to. I would have chickpeas, roasted Brussels sprouts, and a sweet potato. Like that would be my meal. Like I would make that and have enough of that for like a week. And it was something easy to do. I got it down to a science and was just able to go. And so if you have something like that, that's an easy go to, and it's like a full rounded meal, lots of nutrients in there, and it's nothing fancy. Like people are so surprised when I tell them I do not like to cook, or I do not cook much. And they're usually very simple meals, very simple recipes. And so that's how I get through life so busy, because otherwise it's like we'll be just grabbing anything that's there. And so you want to make it to where it is actually manageable for you. Okay. So let's see. So we have the make the habits manageable. So we start with the first one there. Excuse me. And then we want to make sure that the anchor habit is number one, and then make sure that we prepare ahead of time. So that way we're not like trying to get everything together at the last minute. The third step would be is to actually stack the habits. Okay. So this is actually, I've talked about this before when I do videos, is reading these habits, or reading a book about habits, was actually habit stacking. So that means you actually pair a new habit with something you already do automatically. So your brain loves routines. So if you already have hundreds of routines in your mind, like brushing your teeth, like for me, drinking my lemon water, checking my phone, starting the car, whatever you can do to remember the habit, and you can attach it to something else. So, brushing your teeth in the morning, you can do 2 minutes of prayer, deep prayer. Like, this is where we start. Now, I'm being challenged longer to do like hour-long prayers. But in a busy life, initially, that may not be the case for you that you can do that. So, if we can start out with, you know, a few minutes, that we actually say, okay, we're going to brush our teeth. So we get up, I get up, turn on the morning prayer call, and I know that I'm going to go ahead and get like the teeth brushing done, and then I go ahead and do the hour of prayer. But for you, you can do your teeth brushing and then like 2 minutes of prayer if that's where you want to start out with. That's perfectly fine. Okay. So another habit you can do is after you do that prayer, have your lemon water. If you're a coffee drinker already, then as you're getting your coffee ready, you can actually drink a full glass of room temperature water or warm water. Okay, so that's the way you can get your water in first. Another habit stack would be like after lunch, you go for your 10-minute walk, or after dinner, you go for your 10-minute walk. So once you're finished, you don't go and sit down and watch TV. You don't go and do anything else. It's like, as soon as I finish eating the last bite, after you chew 22 times, then you go out and you do your walk. So that's the habit stacking. Okay. So the simple formula that they use in the book is, after I blank, I will blank. Okay. So from a brain standpoint, that works because your existing habit acts as your cue. And your brain will definitely remind you when you have that, because you're like, oh, wait a minute, this goes with this. And then it becomes like automatic. You don't have to remember that thing. It's just the second step that you do, no matter what. Okay. Um, so from a lifestyle medicine angle, those are what we call like little add-ons: a quick walk, a glass of water, taking a deep breath. All these add up for real physiological changes to your blood pressure, improving your blood sugar, better sleep, and less stress. Okay. So spiritually, even we have the habit stack with time with God. So after I sit down for my breakfast, if you sit for breakfast, or if you want to do sit down for your lunch before you do your walk afterwards, you can say that you're going to read, a chapter of your Bible. And again, shout out to my Arise and Shine group for those that are now in the month of December, still trying to get in your last couple of books of the Bible to finish out the book in the year. Praise God. Praise God. I've finished that in October, and now I'm back in the Old Testament. Now this morning I read the first 4 chapters of First Samuel. And there's still so many things I read in different translations at this time. I'm now reading the Message Bible, and just so many things that you can pick up. So however you want to actually add that in there. So that's, you just want to, after I blank, I will blank. So that just helps you to bring in the routine. And you just want to think of these things, because that one small habit can actually help with actual changes over a longer period of time. Okay. So it may not seem like it's adding up to much, but as you do it consistently over time, you'll be like, wow. And then people will say, all of a sudden, you seem like you just can have it all together. But you know that you are actually building up a routine. Okay. So step 4 is to use reminders. So if you don't have the habit stacking where it can't be to where you can remember, you can use reminders. So we live in a world of constant noise, like notifications on our phone, emails, text messages, to do things. It's like, it's easy to forget. It's like so much stuff. Okay. So reminders can look like alarms on your phone to say time to take a walk, time to breathe and take water. I know my mom would do this before. I was like, why is your phone going off all the time? She's like, it's my reminder to drink water. I was like, oh, that's very good. I like that. So you can have a reminder to review your goals. You can have a reminder to pause and pray. You can use sticky notes in the bathroom mirror. So as you're brushing your teeth, you can look at them. I use that a lot too. The sticky notes. I like to like write and read stuff. You can also use your calendar props. I know my husband likes to use his notes section. So anything that you know that will actually set something off to remind you, okay? So it's not about nagging yourself or like, oh my gosh, you got to do this. It's just creating a supportive environment to the kind of person that you want to be, okay? So if you have a history of being hard on yourself, please do not do that, okay? So just these are just kind, gentle reminders to actually say, hey, let's care for our future self right now because your future self will thank you in the future. Okay. Or you can say you deserve, to take a pause and a 10-minute break. Take a pause, breathe, and spend some time with God. Like that is perfectly fine. Or you can say, I deserve, to go for a 10-minute walk after dinner because everything else is going on in the house and I just want to go out and take some time alone. So you definitely can do that. It is not selfish to actually care for yourself. Okay. So after time, these habits can actually become automatic and then you won't need the reminders anymore. It already be like something that you do. It's just ingrained into who you are. And everyone that says, that's just how I've always done it, usually is not the case. Usually they've done some type of work ahead of time. And because they don't remember like what was done before, like how they were before, because they actually ingrain these into their daily routines, that it's just like now it's just what they do, it's who they are. So use these simple tips and that can be you, okay? And the last thing is, which as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself, is to embrace flexibility. I even had that this morning. I was going to come on here earlier this morning before starting to work. And I was like, oh, I can't get on. Someone else is doing a meeting. And I was like, that's all right. I can switch it to before lunch. And hey, to to do that is not something I would usually do in a relaxed state previously, but now I'm trying to embrace the flexibility more because we know that, especially for my women out there, high achieving, having a lot of caring and responsibilities, it's like we want to fall into the all or nothing when we think about health, but we don't have to do that, okay? Um, Especially like sometimes, like if I can't go for the full 30 minutes, why bother walking at all, or why do any exercise at all? Doesn't have to be the case. There are some exercise videos you can do inside if you have to do something, and there could be some that's like shorter. Um, for my weight resistance, I love doing the juice and Toya. So even this morning, I did like more of the 20-minute workout than a 30-minute workout. But I was like, that's just what's going to have to go for today. I have to be a little bit flexible. I have a lot going on this afternoon. Or saying like, oh, I already, ruined breakfast by eating like 3 donuts. What's the point? The whole day is blown. Not the case at all. Your next meal, you can choose a healthier choice, like your big leafy green salad with some chickpeas and avocado. Hey, and you're right back on track and then drinking your full glass of water. So it's okay. And if you like missed a few days of exercise and you're like, I'm off track again, but tomorrow's a new day and you can start a new streak. Okay. So embrace the flexibility. It's okay. The mindset quietly can destroy consistency. Okay. But this type of mindset can destroy consistency if we think that if we don't consider the flexibility of the time frames. Okay. So again, we're not aiming for perfection. And again, like my mentor says, we try to be consistent at being consistent. All right. So, what does flexibility look like? You planned a 30-minute walk, but your meeting ran late. And now instead of skipping it, you do a 8-minute walk while you're before you get your kids ready for bed, or your 10-minute walk after dinner. So it's okay. Say again, you had fast food for lunch. And instead of saying, it's okay, I'm done, I'm just going to have fast food again for dinner. No, no, no. The next meal, you can choose something different. So something more fiber and colorful that you can do. And instead of saying, I missed 2 days of my anchor habit, because remember those anchor habits were something small that we're going to do no matter what. But hey, say you didn't get them in. Instead of saying, I'm going to wait and start the week again on Monday. Nope, you're going to restart today. So whatever you didn't get done, whether it was supposed to be in the morning, you can do it in the evening or afternoon. It's okay. We're just going to breathe through it. We're going to get through it. Okay. So remember, from a physiological perspective, your body responds to average choice over time, not one single meal, not one single day. Okay. So your blood pressure, your blood sugar, inflammation, these things respond to patterns and not perfection. Okay. So from a faith perspective, this is what we call grace. And we thank the Lord for grace. Okay. We're not called to perfection in our own strength. We are called to be great stewards and progress towards being powered by with God's help. Okay. So one of my favorite scriptures I like to quote now is in your strength, I can crush any army. With my God, I can scale any wall. Okay. So all those things, we can come together with God's help. I can do many things. Okay. So I want you to repeat something to yourself right now, or you can say it out loud if nobody's there with you. It's okay. You can say, I can restart as many times as I need. Every choice still counts. I can restart as many times as I need to. Every choice still counts. Okay. So flexibility is what keeps you in the game. Okay. And staying in the game is where transformation happens. All right. So let's bring it all together. No, looking for questions. Okay. Consistency when life is busy isn't about being superhero. It's about designing your habits in a way that respects your reality and honors your values. Okay. So what have we talked about today so far? The anchor habits is number one. So the small daily non-negotiables. Okay. Number two would be prepare ahead, reducing friction so that healthy choices are easy to make. So that's like having your veggies already cut up or get them pre-cut, having your fruit pre-cut, having it there, having nuts that's ready, anything like that. Okay. Then we want a habit stack. So pairing an old habit with a new habit, or something that you already do. So as after I do this, I will do this. Okay, so that's the habit stacking. And then the reminder. So whether we want to use our phone, sticky notes that we set everywhere, something that just keeps your brain involved to remember your intention. Okay. And then after we have all those things, remember flexibility. Okay. Rejecting the all or none thinking, and choose grace. Okay. Choose grace. That is so wonderful to give yourself grace. So many times we give everyone else grace, but we don't give ourselves grace. Okay. So you don't need to implement all five of these things perfectly tomorrow, except maybe flexibility. Flexibility would be the one that you really want to have. Okay. So, anchor habits, you want to commit to that. So I want you to don't forget to put your anchor habits in the comments below. Okay. And then you can choose flexibility, like I said. So you can choose one or two things to start today, to now. Okay. So if you start doing these things, you will help with your blood pressure, your blood sugar, your energy level, your mood. It's all going to move in a healthier direction. Okay. And the small steps that you continuously repeat will actually help you to become the person that you want to be. Okay. So you can now say, instead of saying, oh, I don't really like to exercise, you can say, I'm a person that moves daily. For those that said they don't like to drink water, I'm a person who drinks water and I stay hydrated. I'm a person who chooses health, even when life is just full. Okay. So when life just gets so busy, you still choose health. Okay. So that's where our identity shifts comes in. So when you go from saying, oh, that would good to do that, or that's good for them, or I can try to do that. No, you say, I am a person that, or I do this. Like you actually change your identity. And here we are renewed by our mind. Okay. Or transform when we renew our mind. Okay. So remember that if you're listening to this and thinking, I know I need this, I'm tired of starting over, and I want a plan that fits my real life and my real diagnoses, my diabetes or my high blood pressure or my weight. Well, I created my virtual lifestyle medicine practice with Adkins Enlightenment Lifestyle Medicine. So I work with busy Christian women and men who are juggling careers and families, ministries, and are dealing with chronic illnesses like diabetes, prediabetes, and high blood pressure. And as we work together, we build realistic food plans that help work with your life, design movement routines that fit your schedule, address your sleep and your stress. And if you have any emotional eating, we look at that. And when appropriate, to partner you with medications that are there to help support the healing rather than just managing your symptoms. We don't like to do that. So if you're interested in actually personalize your healthcare, actually, I would love to work with you. So go ahead and book your appointment with me at www.dramandamd.com. That's where you'll find more information about all my services, my lifestyle medicine coaching, my 5-day cleanses, and we can walk on this journey together. Okay. So, last thing before we wrap up, I want you to take a moment and really picture something with me. Okay. Whew. So, imagine if you actually took the steps that we talk about for the next 90 days and you choose your anchor habit and you stuck with it. And that may be like your 10 minutes of walking after dinner, your daily glass of water before your coffee, your commitment to adding vegetables at every meal. Imagine even on the busiest days, you did something instead of nothing. Okay. Picture your future self 3 months from now. Your blood pressure readings are lower and steady. Your blood sugars don't spike dramatically after meals. You're sleeping deeper and you're waking up more refreshed. Your clothes are fitting more comfortably and you are not perfect, but you're steady. Okay. Imagine walking into a stressful week and realizing you are not falling apart the way you used to. You have anchors now, you have rhythm, you have tools. Your kids see you lacing up your shoes after dinner, like, oh, mom, you're going for your walk again? Yep, that's just what she does. That's what she does. Or when I was like, oh, you're in your closet praying? That's what she does. That's what she does. So that becomes a part of your identity, a part of your legacy. So you can be like one of my clients that imagine sitting in your doctor's office and hearing, oh my gosh, I got to recheck your blood pressure because it's actually very good today. Whatever you're doing, keep it up, keep it going. How would it feel to know that even when life gets busy, you don't have to abandon yourself? You stay connected to your health, your purpose, and your faith. And spiritually imagine knowing that the peace that you have, knowing that you're honoring the body that God gave you with your schedule and your service. And you're like, I'm entrusting the temple that He gave me. So you're not in a place of shame, but you're in a place of gratitude and stewardship. Okay. So the future version of yourself, it doesn't have to be fancy. It's something simple as a result of small, consistent, faith-filled actions that you repeat over time. So I want you to write down whatever you want your anchor habit to be. Okay. Pray over it. Ask God for strength to be consistent, not necessarily perfect. And remember, you don't have to have an overhaul of your life to transform your health. You just have to keep taking small, faithful steps. Blessing and health, y'all. And I look forward to seeing you next time.